Darren, with our final 5 minutes, I would love to open the floor up to spoilers because I really want you to talk about your ending. Yeah. And this is something that we will hold till long after, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But, part of the fun is you talk about directing Sam Jackson or having Sam Jackson on the scene. You have to get him into this contraption. I want you to talk about filming that day. And then also you have a great ending where you tease out, your killer escapes essentially. And I want to know if that's a rivalry you want to continue exploring.
So, there's a couple of things regarding the ending. One of the things that was important, I think, to all of us coming back is there's only one Jigsaw. There's only one. And you can never fuck with or compare to Tobin Bell. He is iconic, and the guy is an American. He is a national treasure. So one of the first things coming into it is I wanted to go as far away from what Tobin was. So we're not looking like, oh, it's just a Tobin wannabe, because he's so just utterly unique. So we wanted to go with someone who was a real actor, someone who was a great actor. Since this will play after, Max is so, if you watch him on Handmaid's Tale and others work, he is an amazing actor. So we knew that he can go places. And we have an idea, obviously, of where that would be and how he would shift and change as a chameleon. If this one is a success, I think that there's, we are in good hands with what he can do. Regarding getting Sam Jackson in that trap, Jesus Christ.
I can't wait to hear this.
I was going to say is I became an alcoholic in the days of that because he's intimidating. I'm not going to fuck it. He's intimidating.
But he knows what he signed up for, doesn't he?
You think so, but
trust me, we've all sat across from him, and we know exactly. He can be intimidating for sure.
So he I remember when he came in and he saw it. Like he stares at me, he looks at the trap, he stares back at me, he looks at the harness he has to wear, he stares back at the trap, and he shakes his head and just walks away. I'm just like, I'm sorry, dude. No, he would listen. I asked him, I go, why would you do this movie? And I was like, you've got a million offers. Like, we're not making your quote. And he goes, anytime that I can do an insane sequence that I've never done before, such as being a marionette hanging up there, he's like, I'll do it. And so he was absolutely game. But I'll tell you one thing, and this is an advice to any filmmakers that may want to work with the great Mr. Samuel Jackson: know your shit. Like, don't put him up there and be like, let's figure this out and talk to the cinematographer. You go up there with your storyboards, your shot list. And like what we would do every day is we would show him, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you up here. Here are the 5 shots we're going to get. We're going to do it like this, this, and this. And he was totally cool. But he's not a guy to suffer fools lightly. So if you went up there and you had him up there and you were like trying to figure stuff out, that's where it would have been a disaster. And luckily we had a great cinematographer, this guy Jordan, and great producer. So we were very quick to do it and make sure that it was as comfortable as that can be. But just the process of getting him to that spot takes about an hour and a half just to get him there because of the bloodlines he has, the harness, the safety, the rigging, and prosthetics he has. It took a long time just to get in there. So you got to think 90 minutes just to get to the point. And when he's there, it's his weight. He's hurting. That is a harness that is putting his body weight on him. So you had to do it very quickly and then put him down and let him walk around. And then again, 90 minutes to get back up there. So it was an intense sequence for sure.
Wow. Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Darren, I know we have to wrap really quickly. Is there any chance that you could show us the Jigsaw doll behind you? Just because I'm a fan. I just think we were flipping out when you walked away and we saw it.
Is this from one of the movies?
This is from Saw 3 and this is the one from the movie. So this
Oh, that's the one from your movie on the right.
Yeah. So this guy's from Saw 3. He is the one. So I've got a thing that I do as a filmmaker now, and I recommend, again, filmmakers listening to this. When I did Saw 2, there was so much stuff that I wanted to take from set that I couldn't because it's not mine. It's owned by the production. So when Saw 3 came around, and then every movie since then, Repo, Mother's Day, I will give the prop department $10,000 or so, and I'll say, I look at the script and I will say, I want to pay for that, and that. And they're cool with it because they're like, oh, that we have a bigger budget then. So when Saw 3 came around, they had to make a new Billy, and I think it was $6,500, and I gave it to him. I was like, here's the money. And then I take it home at the very end of it because it's my doll that I did. So he's the screen used one from Saw 3.
Oh, wow.
He is, he's a remote control dude. So his eyes, his mouth is all through remote control.
Do you have the remote control? Like, can you operate him?
Yeah, I don't have batteries in him right now, but let me see if I can show you. Yeah, I mean, he's got like a little battery pack back here. I have a funny story. So I went to I don't really do conventions, but I did one about a year and a half ago. And I brought him to the convention with me, but I wanted to keep him on my carry-on. So I was in front of Matthew Lillard from Scream, and I have this bag on me. And the TSA people stop me and go, "Sir, you're going to have to take that out of your bag." And I was like, no, please don't. And they're like, "No, take it out of your bag." So I have to take him out of the bag. And then everyone at TSA took pictures with him. So there's this guy. So the next one, and this is crazy. So in the original script, there was not a puppet. And that was one of the things that I felt very adamant about, that I wanted to make sure that there was something iconic. And so I basically I took it upon myself to say, this movie's about cops and, it's all of these, bad cops. So let's make the puppet be a personification of that. So I had a friend draw out some images, and then I came back and presented it to the producers of this guy. So
awesome.
I love this, how it is what the end of the movie is, with Sam being the marionette.
I do love that. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I think this guy is actually terrifying. My kids come in my room and just cry because there's, you can't see it because my room is dark, but I've got stuff hidden all around. There are monsters that there are just sheets over because my kids come in and just openly weep because of
so awesome.
I mean, it's just disgusting. Like, these are just things sitting on my desk. I don't know if you can see it. It's just like eyeballs and noses and like ears.
Ears.
Just like a fucking nose. Just.
Wait, Darren, where are the fingers that got ripped off in your movie?
No, he's got
no. You don't really have those.
Oh,
yes! That was the one thing I ripped off, for real?
Yes.
So I have one of the things, like I told you, I take props. Getting a prop across the border has always been a challenge. So I don't know if you can see if I can take this off. There's a spinal cord inside this poster. I'll try to take it.
I can see it.
I see a baseball bat.
So Saw 2 baseball bat.
Right.
I fly with these things. So there is a spinal cord in Repo that I tried to get across the border, and it's in a FedEx tube, and I got pulled aside and they had to examine the spinal. I was like, it's not real. The needles, though, were the worst, because the needles I tried to ship, and they got tossed. So I had hundreds and hundreds of needles that I put into a FedEx package and shipped. And I get a phone call, I don't know, a month later from the production. It says, "We just got a phone call from customs and they have confiscated the needles, because obviously I'm sending hypodermic needles that look bloody." But I did have 15 or 20 or so that I just had in my bag. So I was able to walk across the border with them. But here's the good story. So I'm leaving Toronto, and it is, COVID's about to hit everywhere. They're shutting down airports. And I walk across the border and I set an alarm off. And they pull me aside and they say, "Mr. Bousman, we're going to need to see your passport." Show it to them. And they said, before we get our supervisors, do you want to explain what's in your bag? And I was like, "Nothing's in my bag." And I totally forgot that I took, and again, spoiler, all the shotgun shells of when Sam was killed. And so I picked them up off the ground because they're props. What I didn't realize is when I picked them all up, there were two unspent, and they're fake, they're blanks, but two unspent capped shotgun things that were in my bag as I was going across. Because I have all these spent shells, and there was two that were unactivated. So I had to try to explain to the people at the border, no, listen. I was like, "This is from a movie." And they're like, "Well, what happens?" And I didn't want to tell them because it's the twist. And I was like, "I can't tell you." And so yeah, getting shit across the border has always been interesting for me.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that stuff. That's so cool. Yeah. Oh, cool. God. I can't believe you had the fingers. I thought you were joking.
No, I have a warehouse, not a warehouse. I have a storage unit where I just drop all, I don't throw anything away. And this is really bad. I'm a hoarder. And so every piece of paper from any Saw movie that is like, when they're done with the set, I will go and I'll take them. So like Jigsaw's lair, he has hundreds and hundreds of paintings on the wall. I just take them, I roll them up, and I bring them back. And so I just put them in a storage unit. So I have a storage unit of just disgusting dismemberment and like heads and fingers and just shit like that at some point I'm going to release them somewhere. I don't know.
It's your legacy. You have your legacy stored someplace. Darren, thank you so much for spending the time, man. We really appreciate you going over, and this was a really fascinating conversation. So,
all right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I think we're probably going to see you at the TV junket next week.
Awesome. Look forward to it, guys.